folks. We are back here on WLTH 1370 AM. The number is 219-885-1371. That number again, 219-885-1371. Now, a lot of people think it's 1370 because the station is 1370, but no, 1370 is the office number. 1371 is the live radio line. So always remember 219-885-1371. If you got something to say about COVID, let me know. What do you think post-COVID life is going to be like? Man, I mean, I can't wait to find out. And you know, to get back to what I was talking about earlier at the top of the show, you know, this week really threw some curveballs at us in, you know, not just in this region, but in America, in terms of Black America, particularly if you're a younger person. If you're a younger person, specifically, I mean, this looming specter of violence within the Black community and poor urban community, should I say, that is associated with hip hop and young Black celebrities has become out and out exhausting to me. It really has. And it's really disconcerting for me to see how young Black death has been normalized in our culture and in our society. And, you know, this week, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we had another shooting of another high-profile rap star this week named PnB Rock, who was actually fatally shot during a robbery in Los Angeles, where the police believe that a social media post may have tipped the assailants to his location. Think about that. The Philadelphia artist, whose real name was Rakim Allen, was gunned down Monday at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, one of the most high-profile, prominent, and famous restaurants in LA, especially if you're Black. You know, one of the things everybody want to do in our community when we go to LA is, I got to go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. It's famous. It's in movies. It's in TV shows. It's in songs. We all want to go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. And this young man, PnBRock, was no different. He was eating with his girlfriend when a robber approached their table and demanded items from the victim. According to the police, a verbal exchange ended when the assailant opened fire, striking the young man multiple times. Now, the social media post in question was from his girlfriend. His girlfriend had actually posted a location and tagged the rapper in an Instagram post that has since been deleted. Detectives are investigating whether that post prompted the attack, Police Chief Michael Moore told the LA Times on Tuesday. He was with his family, with his girlfriend, and they're there enjoying a simple meal, and this man was brutally attacked by an individual who came to the location after a social media post. The robber looted the dead body of this young man, this 30-year-old young man who had his whole life ahead of him, another 40, 50 years of natural life to live in most instances, and fled in a car that was waiting in the parking lot. So they planned this. This man was a father to two young, beautiful girls. And to just show you once again the type of gruesome, cruel culture that we live in, when I saw this trending, I believe it was on Monday, either Monday or Tuesday, I go on Twitter, see this young man's name trending, and what is the first thing I see? I see a video of this young man in a pool of his own blood, taking his last breaths on this planet. That's what I see. right there. So anybody who knows him, his girlfriend, and who they had 2 children together, his children could see that. His mom could see that. His dad, his uncles, his aunties, his cousins can see this man's last breaths of life on the internet, on Twitter, because somebody took video of this man dying in a pool of his own blood. Now, unfortunately, this isn't the first young man in hip hop or even celebrity, young black celebrity, to die this way or to be shot this way. We just had the Commanders rookie, Brian Robinson, a football player, an NFL player, young man who went to college. He was shot a few weeks ago in Washington, D.C. Now, thankfully, this young man has survived. He was transported to an area hospital in Washington, D.C., where he was in stable condition. He was actually shot with 2 gunshot wounds to his lower extremities, so I guess his life was never in any real danger. But we're seeing this a lot more often now. We're seeing anybody who comes from our community, whether you're a rapper, a singer, an athlete, nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. And this may mean that in the black community, we have to have some very hard conversations with ourselves and with each other. The show is called Issues and Answers. Well, we know what the issue is. We know what at least one of the issues is. We saw another rapper, XXXTentacion, die very violently. He was robbed as well. He was just going to buy a motorcycle, and these guys actually followed him to go buy a motorcycle at a motorcycle dealer, a motorcycle car dealer, and they actually attacked him in his Lamborghini and shot him. And this was not in a bad neighborhood. This was in a suburban neighborhood, because obviously you're not going to have a expensive car and motorcycle dealership in the ghetto somewhere. And again, this was caught on tape, and we had to watch this young man be murdered in cold blood over and over again on the internet. Just like we watched Philando Castile die and George Floyd die and Alton Sterling die. And we had to hear Trayvon Martin die from that horrific phone call. This is we have a culture of death in this country. We really do. And particularly of young black men. And, you know, I never felt that I should feel lucky to be alive and almost 40 years old, but here I am. I guess I am pretty lucky to be alive, because when I look at what happened to Trayvon Martin, that could have easily been me. When I look at what happened to Mike Brown, that could have easily been me. When I look at Brian Robinson, who's, again, he's still with us, but this man was just minding his own business, a football player, thinking he's, you know, this is a man who went to college, did everything the way he was supposed to do, and he gets shot just for being a young black man with some money. And again, virtually most of these cases that don't involve the police are other black people doing it to ourselves. We already know that black lives do not matter to a lot of racist people in our society, in our world. It never has. Since 1619, the lives of black people have been virtually, you know, I don't want to say meaningless or worthless, but they've been close to nothing. Okay, you're talking about a country that normalized owning black people and literally said that we were 3/5 of a human being in this country. 3/5 of a human being. This was a country where you could not rape a black woman because she was not considered a person. She was considered property. And killing a black man was considered a property crime, not a crime against a human being. So now we see that life has been worthless. Our lives have been deemed worthless, or maybe not totally worthless, but close to worthless since 1619 in this country. But now it is a lot of us perpetuating it against ourselves. Now, I might be about to say some very controversial things here, folks. So, I mean, if you're somebody easily offended or who, doesn't like hearing the truth, then, hey, you may have to turn off for this segment. But I'm going to come out and say it. The mafia would have never allowed this to happen in their communities. You better believe that. You better believe you would never see Frank Sinatra and Rocky Marciano and all these other, Italian-American superstars who would have been afraid to walk around their own neighborhoods and walk around Italian neighborhoods because some young Italian kid out of the blue might shoot them in the face. You would have never seen that. Our criminals allowed George Zimmerman, who murdered Trayvon Martin in cold blood, to still walk around America. I don't know where George Zimmerman is, but apparently none of these clowns who will rob an NFL player and shoot him and probably ruin his career, or who will kill a rapper over a chain, or who will extort a young singer. They can't do anything to George Zimmerman. Darren Wilson's still out here. I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying that you got to. But I'm saying these people are not equal opportunity. They only target their own people. They only target their own people, particularly young black males. And it's gotten to the point where we have gotten desensitized to it. He's just another dead rapper. PnB Rock will just go down as another dead rapper. Brian Robinson's just another NFL player who got shot. Just another NFL player got shot. Organized crime would not have allowed what we're seeing. And I'm not even just talking about, in my current example, I'm not just talking about the Irish, the Italians, the Jews, the white ones. But the problems that we have in our inner cities is that our gangs are disorganized. We have 13 and 14-year-olds who are basically allowed to run the streets and do whatever the hell they want. And nobody puts a stop to it. In the organized crime days, that would have never, ever been allowed. Because at least, you would have had to check in. You would at least had to get permission from the real boss to do something. Now we have these kids running around doing whatever they want and taking anybody's lives that they want to take. And we have people like Nipsey Hussle who were starting businesses, hiring young black people who are being taken out of our community. What is the incentive of a young black person who makes it even wanting anything to do with other black people if this is how we're going to treat them when they actually make something of their lives?